welcome to this episode of Fine Cider Friday, and today I have got two supermarket sparklers to share with you. Twisted Tree, which is an Aldi own brand, so that's available in Aldi, and Chalkdown, which is from Hampshire, and you can get in quite a lot of Waitrose stores. So I'm not comparing, this is not a versus, this is just two sparkling ciders that you can get in two very different supermarkets that I want to share with you and have a chat about. So I'm going to start with Twisted Tree. I was going to open them beforehand, but I thought you might want to see how sparkly they are. So I've asked Aldi before about their Twisted Tree brand. They haven't been willing to answer my question, so I don't know who makes it. I can make some guesses. It's probably somebody like Weston's or Thatcher's or something like that. Weston's do make their vintage. That's the only bottle that they have the name of the maker on. So I presume maybe it's the same again. No ingredients, no mention of company. Nice to have the calories on the back, but it's 5.5% and it retails between £2.50, £3, I think. So very cheap for a 750ml sparkling cider. Let's have a pour. Ooh. So nice fizz there. Quickly gone. I'll bring that in for you. Nice bubbles, very clear, crystal clear in fact. Nice dark straw goldy colour. Let's have a whiff or a sniff. It smells actually really good. It's clean. There's a lot of green apple there. It's a bit, if anything, it's maybe a bit one-dimensional. There's just a lot of apple on the nose, and it just smells really fruity. Maybe some like elderflower. But the overpowering nose is just of kind of like green, fresh, crisp apple. So let's have a taste. That's really easy drinking. It's light. It's not too fizzy. It's sweet, but it's not overpoweringly sweet. It's got kind of a juiciness to it. Some kind of like, it's almost a bit of a fruity sweetness. Not like you get from some mainstream ciders like Bulmers or Magners, where it tastes excessively sweet. This kind of feels a little bit more balanced. There's a bit of acidity, you can get some bitterness in there, maybe some tannins. It's very cold. I think if it warmed up a bit, it might start to get a little bit sweeter, because there's that like hint of syrupiness to it. It's not as thin as a dry cider would be. So, okay, that's that one. Let's talk about it first actually. What I like about that is how accessible it is. £3 a bottle at Aldi at the most. That's great. It's got cork in a cage. It's something that's really appealing and great for cider in terms of bringing a new audience to the fact that you can get cider in a large sparkling bottle with a cork in it. What I don't like about it, I guess, is the price, and because to make it that cheap, it has to be kind of made on a big scale, and the lack of transparency around who makes it, what's in it, that kind of thing. That's frustrating. But for £2.99, it's gonna have to have been kind of force carbonated, maybe from concentrate, something like that. But it's a great foray into cider, and if you like it, it's brilliant. And if it introduces you to other things, maybe moving on to something like this, even better, help you explore the category a bit more. It's a great example to show that cider isn't just about, a pint of Strongbow. There's more to it. You can get it in different sizes of bottle. You can get it in different formats and methods. So it's a great gateway, I think, into cider. But I wish there was a bit more about it, a bit more to it. But anyway, let's move on to Chalkdown. This is 3 times the price, about £10 a bottle in Waitrose. Slightly more expensive direct, but you can get it a bit cheaper from some wine merchants like Laithwaites and Avery's. I think if you buy 12 bottles, it's about £7.50, which is crazy cheap. This is the 2015, so I mean this is considerably older than I imagine that was or is. This has had a lot of time gone into it. This is full champagne method, so it's been fermented to dryness and then secondary fermentation in the bottle, left to age on the lees to kind of take on that character like champagne, then disgorged to make it clear, which we'll see in a minute. And just look at that label. It's beautiful, isn't it? And I love the neck foil as well, which is hiding the cork and cage underneath. So let's open that. Nice little butterfly on the top as well. Oh, God. Okay, I've got a feeling this is going to be a little bit more volatile in terms of carbonation. So here we go. I've got my tea towel ready this time. Oh God. There we go. Turn the bottle, not the cork, James. There we go. I should mention the percentage of this one as well. This is 8.3, so it's considerably stronger than that. Let's have a pour. So you can see already the bubbles, there's a lot more bubbles. They're still going quite quickly, but yeah, there's a lot more carbonation in there. Just let that settle a second. Oh, colour-wise, kind of similar actually. Almost identical. If you can see that, this is maybe a little bit lighter. I'm gonna have to let those bubbles go a little bit before I shove my nose in, otherwise I'm gonna give myself a nose full. Okay, so there's the green apple there again. You know, if you bite into a Granny Smith, you get that kind of apple acidity on your nose. It's definitely like that. There was a bit of that in that, but it's not as it smells sweeter. I don't know how to describe that. You can't really smell sweetness to some degree, but it definitely is different. This has got a lot more fruit on the nose, a lot of elderflower, and kind of it's more floral. There's also that, you know, if you get champagne or prosecco, that kind of that biscuity kind of well, I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, kind of bready note that comes from having time aged on the lees, as you do with sparkling wines. But yeah, right, let's have a taste. A lot drier, obviously, but yet still enough in there to give a perception of sweetness just from the juiciness of the apple. More acidity, but still quite balanced. The mouth feels a bit moussier. It's got a lot more going on in it, obviously, compared to that. It's way more complex, and that time, those different varieties of fruit will have all contributed to that. Yeah, I mean, to me, it tastes like champagne with an injection of apple, but not. That maybe sounds like a bad way, but not at all. It's kind of like a complement or a marriage of the two flavours. It's got everything you want from a champagne. It's clean, it's crisp, it's light. It's great. It's a great toast. I'm going to really enjoy drinking that and maybe sharing a bit later. It's much more complex. It's really interesting. A really nice drink. And you know, if I compared the two, is that worth 3 times more than that? Yes, I think so. I can tell there's a lot more time and effort gone into it, and a lot more skill and a lot more complexity because of that. That doesn't mean that this isn't a bad drink, or that it's you know, one to be scorned at. £3 a bottle is very cheap for a cider, but as I said in the beginning, a great gateway. It's really enjoyable and light, and for some people, you know, if that's their first foray into cider as a wider category, I don't think you can get better at the minute in terms of supermarket cider. So, you know, go for it, try it. But I would also recommend you also move on to this as well and experience kind of what cider can become. So this is my favourite, if I had to pick. But this is really pleasant, easy drinking, great on a summer afternoon. This I would love to have in our house anytime for a toast to replace the champagne on the shelf. So cheers to Chalkdown. Cheers to Aldi. Brilliant that you're doing this. I don't know who you're working with. Please tell us. But yeah, great stuff. And yeah, cheers to the weekend.